Well, hey there, crypto friends. Thanks again for joining me. Today, I have a special guest on the channel. I want you guys to welcome Cautionfun to the channel today. He is a fellow Gods Unchained player at the high level. He's at the higher level than me. I'm at the middle level.
I appreciate that, buffing my ego. Thank you kindly. Thanks for having me on.
It's true. But also streamer and avid player of the game. And have been here for quite some time. So today we're doing a special tutorial / demonstration on deck building, and so we're going to go through and kind of go through and build a deck for some of those people who are kind of new to the game. Maybe you're just getting started and you have not the largest collection, or you're only working with some core cards and maybe a couple of Trial of the Gods cards that you've acquired. And so we're going to look at building decks today and how to kind of pivot on things and some of the resources and whatnot here with Cautionfun. So he's going to help do this. So I'm excited about this, man. How are you feeling about it?
I'm super stoked. It's always nice to help out the newer players, and theory crafting is definitely step one.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. So we're going to dive right into this, and we're going to kind of assume you guys know a few things about Gods Unchained already and some general gameplay. You've dove in a little bit. This is not just a beginner, but this is kind of like, once you've gotten started, I guess is what we'd say, huh?
Absolutely.
All right, so here we are on the main screen here, and you can see, my account, obviously, I'll probably have more cards than most people getting started here, but I have a lot less cards than this guy right here. So that is the challenge, right? So that is the challenge. So for a lot of the higher decks, there may be some key cards missing, which I think that'll be something that, a lot of people coming in will have a problem with too.
Yeah, for sure. Optimized lists definitely require a full collection, but that's not to say you can't make a viable list with a more limited collection, for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, especially when you're getting started too, once you rank up and you get to a higher level and you're really playing a lot, I think it makes sense to go after those key cards you might want for your deck specifically. And now that the marketplace is back open, you can actually do some trades and stuff and grab some cards in the marketplace, and it's not going to cost you $50 in gas fees for a $5 card.
Yeah, what a thought.
What a thought. I know, right? All right, so you can see I have a bunch of decks built here already, and obviously the starter decks, which everyone gets. But all right, let's go in. We're going to create a deck here, and so with this deck, what god do you think is a good god for this deck build that we're going to go with right here that may be easy for a lot of people to jump on with?
Yeah, I think the most accessible domain is nature for new players. They have a lot of powerful core cards, which you can earn for free just by playing the game and leveling up your account. So as far as like entry level decks, I think nature is often your safest choice.
Awesome. Yeah, I kind of agree there too. I think that nature is one of those real easy entry ones. The concept of kind of like a zoo style or mid-level deck, right? With this kind of play makes a lot of sense. And you're right. I think you getting some cards here through core play and just playing the game. There's some pretty powerful cards that you can grab and snatch up.
Yeah, and you make a great point there. Lower curve zoo decks will always be easiest for new players, especially at the lower tier ranks. Tempo is king. For those combo decks, those real highly optimized specialized lists, you're going to need a full collection to really build the deck out.
Yeah, because a lot of these decks rely on a couple of key cards, right? They really, and so that's the thing with the zoo deck is that there could be a couple that are missing, and you can still be, I think, okay with filling some in there, right? They're like, oh, okay, well, I don't have two of these ones or whatever it may be. So what card's going to fill kind of that gap? Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, in an entry level deck like this, you're going to want to lean pretty heavily on your 1, 2, and 3 drops. There's a few right there up top. Marshwalker, far left second row, is going to be an auto include 2 of as soon as you get them. One cost staples. 1/4, max stat line. Just a great card to open with.
Yeah, great opener. You're right. That's one of my favorites to open with too with these zoo decks. There's a couple of cards that you talk about opening cards that you want to get in that mulligan, right? You know, you're like, come on, roll. Have you ever been doing that? Like, come on. So that, like, and you're like, get at the very last one, you're like, yes. There's nothing worse than going with a bad hand of like all these cards you just can't do anything with.
You're absolutely right, and there's nothing better than high rolling your one drops. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And another card, another one drop that's great to pair with Marshwalker would be Shield Bearer. It's one of the most potent openings in the game. You end up with a 1/1 and a 2/5 with regen 1 on turn 1. There's nothing that can answer that on curve in the entire game as of right now.
Yeah. I mean, and you're definitely able to get that out here in this very first turn. So, you know, when you talk about, like I said, those combo cards or that really optimal first drop that you're getting there, makes a lot of sense, you know.
Yep. Yeah. Gods Unchained is unique in that both players, first and second, both start with a pip for 1 extra mana. And opening with Marshwalker and Shield Bearer is absolutely nuts. That can win games by itself.
Yeah. Especially when you start combining it with some later, you know, mana cards in the game with some regen abilities and stuff like that. Definitely helps.
Agreed.
Keep things going.
Another overstated one drop you'll find near the bottom of the one drop list is Wild Hog.
Yes, Wild Hog.
It's a 1 mana 2/3, so it does have a bit of a drawback that it's confused.
Yep.
But nevertheless, that stat line is tough to turn down. 5 stats for 1 mana. I mean,
yeah, no, for sure. Great card. Good early play. Drop 2 of these in there, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
2 of those for sure.
And I guess we can move on to the 2 drops there. See what we got working with. Canopy Barrage, pretty much an auto include in every nature list.
Yep, and see, now here's one of those things, like I don't have 2 Canopy Barrages. I don't know why I should. That's definitely one of those ones you definitely have to have 2 of.
Yeah, that's RNG, not being on your side there with your core packs.
It's not, man, because that's a pretty common card. That's what I'm saying. It's not like one of those like, right? Oh, man, that's a hard one to get.
I see you have 2 Arrow of Rages, and that's a rare. I don't know how Canopy Barrage has evaded you. That's interesting.
Hey, you know.
It'll come on the next level.
Right.
I do see you have an Underbrush Boar there, which is another great 2-mana creature. Can kind of fill the same function as Canopy Barrage.
Yep, exactly. Yep, that's a great point. So it coming in and then attacking at the end of the turn, you know, kind of helps to do something similar to what Canopy Barrage is. So you're right. That's a great little trade.
Yeah, a little 1-for-1. And I see another staple there, the 2-mana 3/3 Black Jaguar. That is a just 1 row down.
Yep, right.
That guy, 7 of him. Wow.
Yeah.
I wish we could put 7 in the deck.
Right, I know that is by far one of the biggest staples, I'd say, in a nature zoo deck is that Black Jaguar, man.
Agreed.
You gotta love it. Also a great first play. Like, you know, you get that and you know you can play that out first. I think that's also pretty good first play.
Yeah, exactly. Both players having pips, you can play a 2-mana card on turn 1, and Black Jaguar is about as good as it gets in the 2-mana slot. Continuing on to and for that reason, because you can play 2-mana cards on turn 1, it's definitely good to have more 2 drops in the deck than less, guaranteed.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. You know, always being able to have a really great 2 drop here for maybe your first turn, depending on how things go.
Absolutely. We have, are there any Pyramid Wardens in this collection here? That is a Genesis staple.
Also, very much a staple here. So yeah, when it comes to Genesis cards, love that Pyramid Warden. You know, early game, it's great. Late game, it can crush. You know, late game, you'll crush yourself. Like I've been in a position where I get it late and I play it and I'm like, you don't really want to, but maybe you kind of have to, you know?
That's a great point. It definitely gets worse as the game goes on, but definitely one of the better opening turns that you can put together.
Yeah.
So not much can compete with a 2-mana 2/6 with frontline, you know?
Right. So we dropped 2 of these in here. So this is a card you guys may not have, but like I said, we're looking for high value, right? In these 1 and 2 drops, something that's going to give you a good exchange.
Yeah, an easy replacement for that would be Skeleton Heavy. There's Vanguard Axewoman. That's a staple 2 drop as well.
Oh yeah, Vanguard Axewoman is great. Where is that at? Let me see here.
Probably closer to the bottom there. Yep, there she is. And another card that I think is relatively underutilized is that Foreign Diplomat. On the far left, it's Roar and Afterlife gives you 3 favor. For those unfamiliar, favor is essentially a sideboard that both players share throughout the game, and you can purchase cards from the Sanctum with your favor. So being able to get that first selection before your opponent can be really valuable in a lot of mirror matches or evenly played games. It can make the difference.
That's a good point. No, you're right. And favor is something that you have to really be constantly looking to, because I've definitely been crushed by the fact that I'm not generating any favor early in a match. With the Zoo deck, that could also be a kind of a hard thing to do as well, because you're playing all these small creatures and you may be just trading off with your opponent and not really creating any favor because both of your creatures are dying.
Exactly. So yeah, if we didn't have the Pyramid Wardens, I would probably put in 2 of the Diplomats. Okay. But because you're lucky enough to have them.
Yeah. So that's a good point there. So just getting some extra value. So there you guys know, if you don't have something like this, which are Genesis type of cards, might be a good way to look to fill those in.
Absolutely. And to round out the 2-drops, I would probably put in 2 Skeleton Heavies, 2 mana, 2/4. It's a vanilla creature, but just great stats on the board.
But always one of those good staple ones.
Exactly. And I'd probably throw in your 1 Faithflame Blade there. 2 mana, 1/4 relic, being able to clear away your opponent's smaller creatures if they try to match you with tempo in the early game. That can be really valuable.
How do you feel about that versus Staff of Roots, which would obviously be a bit of an easier card for people to get?
Yeah, that's a great 1-for-1 replacement. Similar functionality. It doesn't quite have as much durability, but it does drop a 1/1 in its place after you use up both durabilities on the relic. So if we didn't have the Faithflame Blade, one of Staff of Roots would probably do the same job.
Okay.
Alrighty. A Lightning Strike is very clutch. 3 mana that can remove up to an 8 health creature. That can help if you're, getting to the mid-late game. Your opponent drops a big frontline creature. You're like, how do I get around this with my, wide board of small creatures? You just drop a Lightning Strike, get it out of there.
Yep. I totally agree. I think having those in the deck here, you got to have something that can take care of those big creatures.
Easy clear.
In a Zoo deck, it can get out of control. You have all these little guys, and they're just getting smashed on. And even though you keep putting them out there, throwing them out there, the big guy just puts his foot down and smashes all over him. So having that Lightning Strike is a good idea.
Absolutely. And staying along the theme of trying to out-tempo your opponent, those ornery goats there, I see from the trial set, this guy can be really, really excellent in Zoo mirror matches. If you can stick him on board, your opponent's going to have a really hard time maintaining their own board presence if you're just dealing an extra 2 damage at the beginning of every turn, helping you remove their creatures and allowing you to develop your own.
Yeah, that passive damage there randomly is a great one, because you're not sacrificing, you're not putting your creature in jeopardy. Let's toss 2 of those guys in there,
Yeah, it doesn't require any extra resources.
Right, exactly. If you got a front line or something there protecting it as well, that thing can just sit in the back and just hang out and just smash on things, from a distance.
Absolutely, you can shut out your opponent pretty much. That's for sure.
Same thing, Wizened Warlock, kind of the same thing. It's dealing damages. That one's at the end of your turn, but kind of the same concept.
Yeah, passive damage, exactly. The 2/2 stat line is a bit of a tough ask with Vanguard Axewoman existing. 2/3 with Blitz just takes that out right away.
Yeah.
So that 3/3 stat line on the Ornery Goat definitely reaches that threshold where it's harder for your opponent to remove. There's also a card that everybody will have access to right away called Hunt Warden. That should be closer to the bottom as well. That's from the Welcome set. It's just a vanilla 3-cost 3/4, but there are a lot of creatures, a lot of early game creatures. You can even see just in the deck that we're throwing together right now that have 3 health.
Yep.
So having that 3 attack and 4 health behind it can facilitate a lot of value trades, and can be a pain for your opponent to remove.
Yeah, I mean, similar to like Dune Cavalry is kind of was the old favorite for that, I think, too.
Exactly.
That same kind of thing. But yeah, you're right. Hunt Warden is great because it's included in that welcome set. So let's toss in 2 of those bad boys.
Easily accessible. All right, so we have 7 slots left in the deck. I guess now is the time where we round it out with some higher cost creatures, maybe higher impact creatures as well. I see 2 favorites right here. Bladefly on the far left there. That's a 4 mana creature that it will summon 2 more of itself as soon as you play it. Yep. So you're getting 6/6 stats for 4 mana, which is kind of crazy. You can just look around. Nothing else has 6/6 stats for 4 mana. It's a really good card.
Yeah, so let's toss 2 of those guys in there, huh?
And speaking of overstated creatures for 4 mana, that Overgrown Rhino is
also a favorite. I was gonna say, I was like, in this line, you're right. There's a couple here. Also, Agrador Protector can be kind of good in different decks too, like like more of a mid-tempo deck.
Exactly. Yeah. If you have access to Genesis cards, Agrador is definitely a good one.
So yeah, Overgrown Rhino, like we were saying before about card accessibility, fairly accessible type of card.
Agreed. So I would definitely throw 2 of those in any tier nature deck. Yep. And let's check out these 5 drops, see if we have anything worthwhile in there. All right. Oh, nice. Murdo's Daughter is one of my favorites, but probably not the best in this kind of deck. Veilwarden Minotaur is really solid, though. That's a core card. Another 5/5 stat line, and it can be a value generator and give you a random nature card at the end of your turn. That's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. And that extra little life bonus too when it goes down. So you think we throw in one of those there for?
I do, and we got 2 slots left. Let's see if we can't find some 6 mana cards that can really provide a nice. Oh, you have Jaguar Staff. We're going to want to put in 2 of those. As a matter of fact, that's just a really nice value generator.
It is, and that's what I was talking about earlier. When you have all these Jaguars, like there's many ways to get many Jaguars in the game. So having my dream of a front line is having like all 6 Jaguars there.
Oh man, that's a daunting board to go against.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, and we filled out the deck. It curves out at 5 mana, but that should be okay for our intents and purposes. Like I said, tempo is king at the early levels. So if you can kind of prevent those bad mulligans that you were saying before, where you end up with a whole hand full of cards that you can't play for several turns, that's an easy way to lose. But if you curve out at 5 mana, odds are you'll have some pretty good mulligans.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this. So now you guys saw us go through here. You can go through a collection. We try to pick cards that we felt were pretty easily accessible to you guys, for a deck that would be easy to build, but you can build off of, so there's a couple of options I think we talked about there. Let's go ahead and you want to jump into a match and play this deck and see how it goes? We don't know.
Might as well.
Let's see how it works out. How it's gonna go, but let's do it. All right. So
I'm confident.
Me too. I'm also confident.
And I thought you brought up a great point there. This is by no means a hard and fast, fully optimized list. You can definitely tailor it to your collection. Swap some cards 1 for 1. You can take it in a different direction and take out some of the 1 cost, 2 cost creatures, throw in some 6 and 7 cost creatures if you want to make a heavier, more mid-rangey deck. But yeah, it's a great jumping off point, I think. Fitting. We got Iona.
Yeah.
Let's hope we can harness the power.
All right. So what god power do we go with here with this deck, you think?
Against death, my 2 choices of choice would be Leech Life or Animal Bond. Because we are already pretty heavy on creature presence, I would probably go with Leech Life to help facilitate some removal.
Yeah, I agree there. So see, here's one where we're like, okay, well, this is not the best starting hand, right? So we get rid of maybe Confused Rhino, replace that one.
Agreed.
So that's a
nice
much better
pickup.
replace, right? So then what do you think? Do we replace Lightning Strike or do we keep that one?
I think we get rid of that there. Soulburn Death is more of an aggressive deck, so we should probably try to match their early game aggression. That's a nice pickup. Wow.
So that's a pretty good lineup right there. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. You've got some touch, man.
There you go. So and that's that's the whole thing, is you're trying to get those first play cards that are going to be really important early on for your deck. And with a zoo deck, it's important to come out boom,
Wow.
Oh, well, I did not see that coming.
It's unbeatable.
Okay. Well,
there you have it.
There you have it. Interesting. Okay, well, let's jump into another match real quick. So all the things I could see going wrong here, that was not one of them.
No, not at all. He must have known what your mulligan was.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. You knew it. He's like, hey, man, you got too good of a play there. So
now we got the smoke.
We got to do something about that. Yeah. All right, let's go into another match here and see how we do.
Yeah, hopefully get somebody a little more willing to play.
Yeah. We can give this deck a good test here, but and obviously too, like I'm playing in I think I'm in Midnight Shadow right now, which is, like I said, like about middle tier ranking. And if you're coming into this game and you're a little bit newer, obviously, the matches may be a little easier, right? All right, so now we're playing against a fellow nature deck.
Yeah, against nature, I tend to choose Animal Bond. A lot of nature's spells and effects hit random creatures. So if you can protect your bigger, higher value creatures with these little 1/2 and 2/1 badgers and eagles, that can really swing a game in your favor.
Yeah, okay. I can agree with that one for sure. And it's always hard playing against certain decks. Every deck has a little bit of a weakness. So you think about, okay, well, this deck's going to work really good against these certain styles, but every deck has its weaknesses for sure,
Absolutely. He's taking his time.
He's definitely taking his time here. He's letting the clock run out. All right, he's chosen.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got the Marshwalker Shield Bearer combo.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I don't know. Do we switch this out? Because this is a pretty good lineup here.
Yeah, I agree. Hard to justify throwing away any of those cards. Might as well go full keep.
I think so. Yeah, exactly, a full keeper on this one.
Good luck. Best of luck.
Hopefully he doesn't crap out us here on the first turn. All right, we got a solid first turn.
The calm before the storm.
So as we said, we're gonna blip here. We have our Marshwalker plus Shield Bearer combo.
Oh yeah.
One of the Uber plays.
Look at all of those stats.
Yep, so nice. And I mean, with that regeneration, it's easy to take out everything that they have on board here, plus what they're about to throw at us.
Yeah, you could trade away 1/1s all day with that Marshwalker, and it won't feel a thing.
Yep.
He's trying to match your aggression there.
Yeah, he is. So now here on this play, we have the hog to now deal with out here. But where do you think we go from here?
I like trading away his 3/1 with your 2/5.
Mm-hmm.
That'll, your Marshwalker will go back to a 2/3 at the end of turn. So, and he only has 2 attack creatures max on board right now. So none will be able to kill that by themselves. You can also play the Axe Woman to take out the 2/1.
Mm-hmm.
Leave him with even fewer options. And then you can use your second pip there and play your own Wild Hog.
There you go. So I think that's what we're going to roll with.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid opening.
Yeah.
going second, obviously you're going to have to be more responsive. Your opponent gets to go first, but Vanguard Axewoman does a great job in helping to recapture some of that tempo and swing things back in your favor.
As it kind of did right there, we could have held that back for something that was going to kind of go this turn, but as you can see, using Life Leech and, getting lucky there with the random creature damage. So now we got hog versus hog. It's all hog, baby.
All hog. At this point, you can use that Canopy Barrage to take out the Wild Hog if you so choose, and then you can pip out a little God Power there, and that'll leave you ahead on board.
And I mean, obviously going with the 2 damage here, right, and 2 heal to my God, because he's only got 1 on the board, so...
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense to get a little bit. Yeah, why not get a little extra then? Then we can go face here, and then, like you said, easy enough to get another creature on the board with my last pick here. And with this kind of zoo deck, no reason to hold back any of these mana blips, right?
Exactly. Yeah, your deck curves out at 5 mana, so
yeah,
there's only so much that you'd be holding those on.
In general, I want to use them early. I want to be able to get that advantage to getting those on the board quickly.
Exactly. So there's a case to be made here for just getting rid of that with the lightning strike.
I was also thinking the same thing, then we're not trying to waste the Axewoman with the combination with one of these confused creatures, which may not hit it.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't be sure. Even if you try to go face, it might hit the 3/4, and that wouldn't be good.
And and we are wasting a little bit of mana here, which obviously I hate to have to do, but sometimes you just have to do that.
Yep, exactly. You can only play the hand you're given. That's for sure.
Now, while he's playing, we can look over here at our sideboard at the Sanctum and see what we have here. Oh, wow, he did a really quick turn.
Didn't he?
So, but we do have access to Volka's Discovery, remove protected hidden sleep, backline from each creature, and then do 1 damage each creature. So that's actually not bad. We remove backline, or backline. Oh no, that's not protected. It's fortified. So, famished ghouls are our other choice. When we draw the card.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'd play either of those.
I'm not really feeling either of those.
Yeah, and his favor count's still at 7, so you shouldn't feel any pressure to choose something right now.
Like watching
from the Sanctum there.
Yeah,
but, I saw you hover on that Jag Staff. That's probably the move here. That'll help you get rid of his 4/3 with Frontline, along with your 1/2 creature. So you'll be killing a thing and playing a thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going here. Is that and it gets it on the board. Plus, so you got another charge in this bad boy.
Exactly.
So, and the hog obeys.
Smart hog.
Smart hog. Thank you, hog. I love it when you're playing these confused creatures, which a lot that's a pretty predominant feature here in nature. When they obey, when they do what they're told, right? Nothing better than that 50-50 RNG going your way.
Yep, totally. Yeah, they're overstated for their mana cost, but they can go against your will, so to speak, and that can swing things back into your opponent's favor. But good hog there. And that wasn't really a bad target to hit either. If it hit the 1/1.
Well. Exactly. Anything I think would have been fine in that. Getting going face there and getting a little bit of life down on their god, I think makes sense, but. Taking their time. Oh, throwing it down again.
Wow. Okay, so now I think we got to think about that Valka's Discovery.
Because that's gonna be a good board clear here, right?
For sure.
We talk about turning the tide with Valka's Discovery. Well, we're gonna deal 1 damage to each creature and all the other stuff. Now, there's nothing else really that it's gonna remove, but the 1 damage I think is worth it for the 3 mana.
Oh yeah, for sure. It'll get rid of all those little 1/1s. It'll bring that 4/3 down to a 4/2, so you can clear it with your relic. This looks like a game-winning turn.
There we go. And so then we do do we take the damage or with the staff, or do we go?
Yeah, I think that's safe for sure. Yeah.
And that way we keep our more creatures on the board too than they are.
Absolutely. And you can play that Pyramid Warden. You can hit your God Power, whichever you prefer. Oh yeah, we are well ahead.
So I think that puts it real strong right there. You know, now I have these 2 Jaguars with regen behind this front line.
Okay.
And so that's, you know, hey, and you know, we see something like that coming here. So now what kind of answer do we have here in the Sanctum? We have the alarm, which that's probably not going to help us right now. The front line, that's probably not going to help us either.
Yeah, unfortunately. I think we've reached the point in the game where it's safest to just play the biggest creatures and go face.
Yeah.
You can take that 4/4 out of the Sanctum and pair it with your Axewoman. That actually seems like a pretty good play.
Damage cool.
Yep. And then if any of your confused creatures accidentally hit his creature, at least you'll draw a card out of it, right?
I'm running out of time.
Right.
I think I'd try to go face here.
Yeah. It did happen.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Do we sacrifice
I'd still go
this
face with it.
You think we still go face with that one? Yeah. Leave it sitting there.
Yeah. He'll have to make the trade anyway.
You have to make the trade next turn anyways, yeah. Let him do it and then get that extra damage.
Yeah, might as well sneak in extra 2, exactly. Well said.
Is destined to fall.
So yeah, so and here's us, you know, playing these Pyramid Wardens a little bit late in the game. Now, hopefully he gets something not good back. Hyena. Oh, come on. That was like the worst thing he could have got back.
Yeah, that was lucky on his part.
It was very lucky on his part.
Wow, I'm playing some big frontline follow-ups.
Answer the call.
Okay, so what do you think here? We unload a bunch of small creatures, or do we go with getting the Veil Warden out right now?
I like the Fey Flame Blade to help remove that 3/6.
Yep.
If you trade your 4/4 into it and swing twice with the Relic, that'll get rid of that. The Jaguar gets rid of the 4/3, and then still got 4 mana to play with. Do whatever you'd like.
So you think Fey Flame Blade to right here?
Sure. And yeah, the 4/4 into the 3/6 there, and then the Fey Flame to kill that off.
Yep.
And the Jaguar, because it's confused, it'll only be allowed to hit the 4/3 after that. Oh, got lucky. And what do you think? Hunt Warden and Wild Hog?
Yep.
Seems about right.
And that, yeah, I mean, we've definitely turned the tide there. We've had to sacrifice quite a few things, but I mean, that's what the name of the game is. I think always staying ahead in creature count is super important with these zoo decks, you know?
Exactly. Tempo is king, yeah. Yeah, we're tied on health, and we're a little bit ahead on board, so should be good. Whoa, Dwarf Atlant.
We were a little ahead on board.
Yeah.
My turn.
Past tense important. All right, so here, I guess we see where the Wild Hog goes, right? Because that's confused. So I would try to go face with that and see if it decides to listen or go somewhere else.
And there
nice,
we go.
cool.
Listens.
So I think here is where we might drop that Veil Warden and couple that with either a Pyramid Warden or a Skeleton Heavy, whatever you'd prefer.
I think maybe at this point, let's go with the Skeleton Heavy.
That's a fair play. And you can throw your Relic at his face there. Just pick up an extra 3 favor and an extra damage.
Oh,
that is not possible.
Twice, not on Gods. And I think that's good. You know, and we do have a decent option here, which we can look at with Orcish Elite.
Yeah, you're right. If he tries to go wide, that could definitely help take out a couple of little creatures.
How do you feel about Aetheric Alarm?
I do think it's pretty good if you can get it down in the early game. But at this point, those 0/2s that you summon, they won't do any damage to your opponent, and you might end up just giving him a bunch of favor by giving him easy things to kill.
And with this deck too, it can kind of clog your board up a little bit, where early on you might be wanting to kind of, you know, spread it a little bit more with your creatures.
That's a great point. Exactly. So that'll help heal us up a bit.
Yep. All right, 1 mana left. Let's see what you got here, buddy. Oh, he's coming with it.
Yeah, he's spilling.
Yeah.
All right. So should we see if that wild hog feels like taking out the 2/2?
Yep.
First things first. Nice. That's a smart hog, man.
It is a smart hog.
So like you were saying when we were putting the deck together, getting something like Ornery Goat out with a front line protecting it can be a real issue for your opponent to deal with.
Yep.
And we have a Pyramid Warden.
Yep.
To provide some protection.
Because especially with the the creature power that they have out right now, which is not much.
Exactly. Yeah, it can only deal 4 damage on board, so he'll have to get lucky with a Leech Life. And Black Jaguar, another 3/3.
Okay, so I decided to go here to play it a little bit because he's getting a little more card advantage on me. So I'm thinking that maybe we can do...
Save your resources. No, that's fair.
Yeah, save the resources here for 1 more turn. See how this works.
Cross our fingers.
I'm running out of time. We must find peace.
Got him awfully low at this point. I feel like we should be able to finish him out.
And we
especially if we
some...
can get that goat to stick.
Yeah, exactly. We want to get the goat to stick. And so we definitely have some good cards here still left to play. But, timing is everything with, I think, some of these, because he's definitely got some cards up his sleeve as well. As he's got 5. Yeah. So he's already got the card advantage on us.
Yeah. If he does choose to trade into the Pyramid Warden, that'll lower a couple of his creatures to 2 health or below that 2 health threshold. So that Orcish Elite in the Sanctum is looking pretty juicy here.
Right, exactly. Yep, getting that quick damage. And so it looks like he is, well, maybe not. So yep, going it down now for sure.
Answer the call.
Alrighty, that's a clutch shield bearer.
Yeah.
If you play that on the Orcish Elite, oh, actually, that's a tricky interaction. His lion there will actually get buffed by the shield bearer. So, yeah, playing the Orcish Elite, I still think is the move. But you're just going to want to swing with that and the hog before you do anything else.
Yeah. So we're going here, right? I mean, we have no choice, obviously.
Yes, sir.
And then what do we think? Go here, like this?
Perfect, yeah.
Because we, rather get rid of the hog. And then we got this for...
yeah, you can take out the 1/2. I can try to go face with the 2 creatures we have on board. And we can drop the Black Jaguar. Try to finish this game out.
Yep, solid.
Alrighty, on our way.
Back down.
We'll see. Yeah, we're in the home stretch. Like I said, I think that was a good. When they line the board like that, and you have all 6 creatures you're going up against, it can be tricky, especially when you don't have a bunch of board clears in your deck. Like this deck doesn't really have any full board clears.
Yeah, exactly.
Oof, that wasn't the best thing they could have got back, but
thankful it's not a big front line.
yeah. Frontline would definitely be an issue right now.
Still has 5 mana left. This is a great game, quite frankly. It's awfully close. Very evenly matched.
It could easily swing his way with just a few key cards here, depending on which direction they're going. Oh, goodbye, goat. Oh, and he chose to go with the Aetheric Alarm. Didn't get it out, though.
So we have 5 on board. The shield bearer buffs 1. I say let's attack with that Black Jaguar, see if it goes face. And if it does, we win.
Oh, we won anyways.
I guess he assumed it would.
Victory!
Nature
Excellent.
weathers
Alrighty.
all.
That was a great example game too. Just both players trying to match tempo, but I think we won it in the early game there. We were able to clear his board and go ahead despite going second, and carried us to the finish line.
Yeah. So there you guys go. I mean, that is going from looking at the available cards you have, building a deck from them, learning how to kind of pivot. And one of the resources we talked about earlier too is a favorite for both of us, which is gudex.com. Right, that's one of the places you love going to be able to see the meta, see how you can create decks. So that takes you well beyond what we're doing here. But this is a good hands-on tutorial and seeing how you can really take a deck from nothing. Kind of really thinking about the cards and what you have to work with, and then testing it in a real live environment.
Absolutely agreed. Yeah, Gudex is great for keeping a pulse on the meta. When you're building your deck, once you get a big enough collection, you can kind of tailor your deck lists to counter what's popular in the meta. But as a building block and as a place to start taking your decks to the next level, I think that was a great example, and excellent piloting on your part as well.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I had a lot of fun hanging out with you and talking about Gods Unchained. We definitely have to do it again. But I think that's all we have for today, folks. Until next time, stash that crypto.